All right. Well, it's October now. What do you know? It's actually close to mid-October, but thought I would give a quick update as far as where I think the Oscars are right now, as far as predictions, who's going to get in, who has kind of become some potential early favorites, stuff like that. Anyway, so let's just get right down to it. And then if there's any movies, because I mean, a lot of these movies have not come out yet, obviously, to where wide audiences, people like me who don't go to festivals, can't see them quite yet. So so yeah, let's just get cracking on these. If I have seen it, I'll give a slight overview of it, or without getting into too much detail. I don't want to be here forever, and it's too early, I think, to totally give valid opinions as far as what's going to get in. Because we never know. We never know. There's a lot that can change. Like freaking Nate Parker. Whoops. Exactly. Look how quickly that goes from January being it's already won Best Picture for 2016 to is it even going to get in? And that's one hell of a slide right there. So we never know. We never know. So let's just get started. Okay, for Best Picture, of course, it can be up to 10 nominees depending on how they go. So I have 10 films picked out. Right away, number one, La La Land. I mean, it's impressed everybody the most. I think out of the early festivals, won the audience award, People's Choice at or audience, whatever you call it, out of Toronto Film Festival, which Room won last year. Was my personal favorite of the nominees last year. I mean, 12 Years a Slave has won it. What was the last one before that? But there's been many films that have shown at Toronto, which have won that Choice Award, that have gone on to win Best Picture, and or if even if they don't win Best Picture, they're at least nominated, like Imitation Game, Room. There's a couple other ones the Silver Linings Playbook's another one. So yeah, even if La La Land doesn't end up being our Best Picture winner, I am almost gonna be rolled over with shock if this thing does not get in at all for Best Picture, because the trailers look amazing, acting looks amazing, direction, everything looks spectacular. And I think I did a thing because I'm like, it's going to have original songs, it's going to have original scores. The sound categories are a good bet. Cinematography, art direction, slash production design, costume design, original screenplay. Two of the acting races I have it in. Director and picture, that's what, 12, 13 nominations? This could easily be, alongside films like Titanic, which got 14 nominations, or All About Eve also got 14 nominations. This could come pretty damn close. So let's, if it does happen to get into each of those categories, but no telling. So then in second place, I have Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. The movie's a month away, and I can't freaking wait to see it. It looks like it's gonna be an amazing venture. Ang Lee, it could easily strike gold on number 3 Oscar for him come January and February. But yeah, that film looks amazing. Another great cast in that one. Looks phenomenal. In third place, I have another festival favorite, Manchester by the Sea. Kenneth Lonergan's newest film, and he's been kind of hot and cold with Oscars over the years of his career. This could be easily his biggest film. I believe he was a co-writer on the film. Don't quote me on that. But he could easily win his first Oscar this year for the screenplay Manchester by the Sea, which I think early on people have started to say, and it is going to fall into adapted category. Could easily win that. The acting races, it already looks like we have some early favorites for Michelle Williams for supporting actress, and not Ben Affleck, sorry, Casey Affleck for lead actor, and already Lucas Hedges, Kyle Chandler could be battling out to get a supporting actor slot, and it's impressed everybody who's seen it. Next up, Fences. We've seen the preview for it, which knocked everybody out, and everybody already said, uh-oh, that means Denzel could win Oscar number 3. Lots of threes this year, potentially. If Ang Lee wins his third, Denzel could win his third. So lots of good stuff could come out of Fences for Denzel. He also directs the film. He's got a good cast behind it, so that's one to look out for. In fifth place, I have Silence, which was just added a couple weeks ago. Paramount finally slotted it for Martin Scorsese's newest, and just the fact that it's a film that he's wanted to make for years, a pet project of his. It looks like something that I'm gonna probably gonna enjoy. It looks Liam Neeson, I think people have already said, might be a threat for supporting actor. Who else is in it? Andrew Garfield, I've heard some buzz about. Then again, nobody's seen it. Nobody's seen it. I don't know if Scorsese even has anything close to a final cut on the film yet. Evidently, they're close enough, obviously, to get it a slotted release date for December. But this is one that I can see maybe if it's not ready yet, they might just push it back to like a February, March on down, like they did for Shutter Island about 5 or 6 years ago now. In sixth place, I put Jackie, another late ad here by Fox Searchlight. This is one that has been screened at the festivals, and all I've heard is good word about it. Natalie Portman looks like she could easily land her third nomination, potentially her second win if she can go all the way with it. And yeah, nothing but good news out of this one. And plus, I looked up just the cast of IMDb because I'm like, I've got it because it's Jackie Onassis. I'm like, I got to see who they cast as John F. Kennedy. And I looked at the picture. I'm like, God damn, they actually got John F. Kennedy. It looks like, yeah, the actor is just incredibly likeness. I don't know how big he's going to play into the movie, but from what I've heard, it's not a huge role. But not that that's important. In sixth place, I have seventh place, Moonlight, another big festival favorite from Barry Jenkins. This would be his first nomination in any field, and just from what I've seen, it looks like something that's going to be really, really interesting. It could be actually this year's Room of a movie that nobody heard of, when the festivals start opening, but it shows up everywhere. Everybody loves it. I'm surprised it actually didn't win the audience award at Toronto. I was thinking it was going to come down to that one, Manchester by the Sea, La La Land, a couple other ones at Toronto. I was kind of vetting Moonlight just a little bit, but and that's just off of word of mouth, by the way. I haven't seen it, but it does open in limited release, I believe, next weekend. So we'll see if it if it can get a good audience reception. This thing's on the map and probably looking at a huge Oscar push in the next couple months. I have Jeff Nichols' latest, Loving, at number 8. I have seen the preview for that. It looks like it'll be a nice, period piece. Joel Edgerton and Ruth Negga, who is another threat for Best Actress, and Edgerton could land his first nomination as well for Best Actor. Looks like they're giving great performances. Michael Shannon. I've heard Nick Kroll actually steals the movie, just from a couple of sources. There come a couple people that have seen the movie, and that's another one that has screened. It's not like at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was like at 79, 80, somewhere around there. So it doesn't look like it's going to be, one of those perfect, films, critically, speaking. But, if it's good enough, it gets in. Number 9, I have Arrival. It's been a huge question mark for me because Denis Villeneuve, the director, Sicario didn't really go as far as some people said it would last year. Prisoners only got in for cinematography. This could be his big break-in. I mean, Amy Adams leading your cast. You've got Forrest Whitaker, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jeremy Renner in the main cast. The cinematographer, the cinematography looks great. I know it's not Roger Deakins. I don't know why he didn't go with it. He's too busy or whatever. But everything technically, even visual effects, I think is a good possibility, at least for a nomination. I don't know. It's maybe too early to say if it's going to win or not. But yeah, I think Arrival looks like it'll be a fairly good bet to, at least early on. And then again, festivals have really loved it too. And I believe it was at all the 3 big festivals, Telluride, Venice, and Toronto, which are kind of the big 3 main ones. If you can hit all 3 of those or 2 out of 3, yeah, you probably, they have really good faith in it. And in 10th place, I have it getting in, Birth of a Nation. I haven't seen it yet. It did open last weekend to a very, very, very interesting, I'll put it that way, very interesting box office performance for one. And then number 2, the whole thing with the scandal around Nate Parker, this just crippled this film's Oscar chances. I thought it wouldn't affect it as much because I thought it was a thing where it would come up, it would be a story for a week, 2 weeks, it would go away. The film would come out, people would see, oh, maybe it is a great film, or it would be a film that's 3 theaters and then gradually builds through October, which initially I thought they were going to do it first. But then I realized, oh, they're going wide, like as in over 2,000 theaters, which Fox Searchlight doesn't really do very often, unless they really think they have something. Like even, Birdman won Best Picture a couple of years ago. That started in like 25 theaters, and gradually built up to, the level that Birth of a Nation is at now over, I think it was 2 or 3 months. And then 12 Years a Slave did the same thing the year before. They've had Black Swan's another one. I'm trying to think of all the other ones that have done that, but at the end of the day, I guess they thought there would be a huge audience for this in October, but I mean, number one, they couldn't have anticipated that. But number two, I don't think, I mean, I certainly think the story looks like it's an interesting one. It's a film. Yeah, I'm probably going to see it this weekend. Probably, most likely going to see it this weekend. So I'll judge it for myself. But at least from the trailers, from everything I've seen about it, it looks like the film will be good. Even if there's a whole controversy around him, Nate Parker. And initially I thought, oh yeah, he's going to be in for director, he's going to be in for actor, he's going to be in for picture, and all that. Maybe screenplay too. But after all that, I'm like, no. I started pulling him out for stuff. So, and Best Picture might go too if it's completely forgotten by 3 weeks from now when November starts and Arrival comes out right toward the beginning of November. Billy Lynn will come out by that time. Moonlight will have been in limited release. There's a couple other ones here and there I think that could seal its buzz by then. But yeah, if it's completely off the radar by then, we might just have to dodge it completely. Okay, some alternates I have in there. I have Lion with Dev Patel, which could be good. I've heard mixed responses out of the festivals, but it looks like it could have been like this year's Philomena, where it just has that strong, heart-tugging emotions to it. I do have Nicole Kidman getting in for supporting actress, but that's maybe just right now off of name recognition. Might be this year's Robert De Niro, where I just put him in for name recognition for Joy last year. That didn't go. Yeah, I thought he was actually pretty terribly miscast in the film. But anyways, regardless. Sully I have in there. Sully I have seen. Sully, I thought it was good. Not great. I even, for comparing stuff here, I thought American Sniper was a better executed film. Of another one of Clint Eastwood's. Tom Hanks, not his best performance, but he's not. But then again, his role, he's not really given a big, his big moment like he was in, say, Captain Phillips, where he gets the whole last 5 minutes where he just, gets that moment to shine, or even another one he did that year, Saving Mr. Banks, where he gets a whole end monologue. It's like he never gets a moment like that in Sully, which I thought he would, but instead he kind of has to just play it straight the whole way through, and just nail what the guy was going through at the time and stuff. And at the same time, I think like visual effects is a possibility. There's it's not totally out. Like I said, it's not totally out of the race yet for Best Picture, but early on, and it did have a massive box office performance, way more than I thought it would. I didn't think it would hit more than 75 million. And 75 million would be very tops. It's getting close to 120 million now. That's a great result, I think, for a September drama like that. 20th Century Women I have next. It did premiere at New York Film Festival. I've been so busy this last couple weeks, I haven't been able to catch the reviews yet. But if they were devastating, I think I would have gotten a win of that by now. But that could be one I think that surprises us. Same guy who did Beginners, whose name is escaping me right now, the director. But with a cast like Annette Bening, Greta Gerwig, Elle Fanning's in it. There's a couple other names that I'm forgetting, but it's could also be a slot for the Screen Actors Guild Outstanding Cast nomination as well. And then another late addition I have as another alternate is Live by Night. It was Live by Night, Live by Night, however you pronounce it. Ben Affleck's latest, which, after Argo snub, unless this movie really isn't what we think it's going to be as far as Oscar potential, there's a chance he just gets in anyways because of the, oops, sorry, you made the Best Picture a couple of years ago, we didn't even nominate you. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, they might just nominate him to, make up for that, but unless it's a great movie. And they did, Warner Brothers did push it to a limited release on Christmas Day, which I thought they would. I had a great, feeling they would, but you never know. You never know. And yeah, the trailer I know has given a lot of people a lot of mixed reactions. I kind of dug it. I didn't think it was I don't think it was phenomenal. I don't think it's just from the trailer. I'm not putting it like on the same level of excitement like for Argo, which I thought was the best film of that year, anyways. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Okay, then we'll move on to Best Director. I have Damien Chazelle out front for La La Land. Ang Lee for Billy Lynn in second place. I have Kenneth Lonergan in third for Manchester. Martin Scorsese I have in there for Silence in fourth. And here's a big one. Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. I'm putting him in for Best Director because, freaking hate when I have to bring this up because I had him, almost got him in, but then at the last minute I pulled him out, and that was oh God, I'm blanking on the name now. Lenny Abrahamson. Had him in to be nominated. Just an inkling I had. I'm starting to get an inkling that if this movie takes off, Moonlight, if it takes off, the studio's behind it, it gets enough buzz, this could be a director, picture, supporting actor, screenplay, maybe film editing, where it gets in where people are like, oh, I didn't think it was going to get into that category. Barry Jenkins might be this year's Lenny Abrahamson, might be this year's, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher, which I had an inkling about, but never didn't put him in at the last minute. Another story on that another time. But early on, I'm getting that feeling again, even without seeing the movie. Maybe if I see the movie and I, think the direction's kind of half, maybe not the best, or there's other, contenders maybe that will topple him over. Yeah, maybe. But early on, I'm just saying, if it does be the case, I can say I called it 3 months ago. Then in alternates, I have Denzel for Fences. He's only directed a couple other films. Not to say that means Fences is going to be a mild achievement for him for directing abilities, but those the 2 films he directed I haven't seen, so I don't know for sure. But they weren't big Oscar contenders. I have Jeff Nichols as a possibility for Loving. His past couple of films, lots of people have liked him, but they never got touched by Oscar. This could be a big break-in for him. Denis Villeneuve for Arrival is a possibility, and Pablo Larraín for Jackie I have as possibilities there. All right, next up, we'll move on to Best Actor as in a leading role here. Casey Affleck I have for Manchester by the Sea out front, just kind of by default. People who've seen the movie say he's got kind of a quieter performance, not a flashy, yelly performance, which I believe the second place pick I have, Denzel Washington, could easily topple over him. I think that happened with Dallas Buyers Club in 2013, where McConaughey had a couple scenes where he could do the yelling and shouting and the big dramatic moments, whereas Chiwetel Ejiofor, who I think was out front before that, is a little more restrained in the movie. Sure, he's got a couple of scenes where he gets dramatic and yelly too, but I think that's what helped McConaughey. Plus the narrative of what was going on with his career and everything maybe helped him too. Ryan Gosling I have in third for La La Land. Joel Edgerton in fourth for Loving, and in fifth place I have Michael Keaton for The Founder. This would be only his second nomination, but and The Founder, supposed to come out in August, got pushed back to Christmas, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. I've heard some mixed feelings. Weinstein maybe pushed it back to try and fix a couple of things, but the trailer I thought sold it. Looked like it was going to be fine, and Keaton looks like he gives a nice performance, so I don't know what the big deal was on that. Maybe it was truly because they thought, pushing it back to December means we get more attention that way, but maybe not. We don't know yet. Some alternates. I do have Tom Hanks as a possibility for Sully, even though I didn't think it was his big outstanding moment. Dev Patel for Lion. Nate Parker, just in case, for Birth of a Nation. And another late addition is Robert De Niro for The Comedian. I have no idea what this movie's about, but De Niro, especially after Silver Linings, it's like we hadn't nominated him in 20 years. God, correct me if I'm wrong here. This is his first leading nomination since Cape Fear in 91, so they might be looking to give him one more Best Actor nomination before it's all said and done for De Niro. Not to say that's anytime soon, but, if this is potentially a last possibility, you want to get him in. Like Peter O'Toole for Venus, there was a feeling of this could be his last one, so at least nominate him, even if, Forrest Whitaker was going to win that year anyways. I have De Niro as a possibility there. I'll move right along to Best Actress. Emma Stone for La La Land I have out front. Viola Davis for Fences. More on her in a minute. Natalie Portman for Jackie I have in there. Ruth Negga for Loving. And Annette Bening for 20th Century Women I have for the 5 getting in there. And this, just looking at what I have here for the alternates too, this could be a stacked year for Best Actress. And for early on from the festival stuff, I've heard, there's some really great performances that are unfortunately going to have to be overlooked because we only have 5 slots. Amy Adams for Arrival, I think, is a possibility. She gets into a lot of stuff, like The Master and American Hustle. She swept the board, I think, and even though not everybody was putting her in to be nominated everywhere. Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins, because you could never discount Meryl Streep. Isabelle Huppert for Elle, I have as a possibility. A lot of people early on, because I think that was at Sundance or Cannes. I think it was Cannes. Sorry. It's Paul Verhoeven's latest, and he's been really out to lunch lately. he could score, even a possibility, I think, for him for director maybe way down the line if Elle gets the big support. And then we have Jessica Chastain for Miss Sloane, and you can never discount Chastain either. I mean, I think she nearly, and deservedly almost got in for Most Violent Year a couple years ago, which was, I thought, really good. Not the best part of the movie, but really good. Okay, moving on now to Best Supporting Actor. I have Steve Martin out front just on a whim for Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea. Mahershala Ali, I believe, the guy from House of Cards, Remy from House of Cards for Moonlight, which I've heard he might even be the early front runner for the category. I have Liam Neeson in for Silence, and then I have Jeff Bridges, sorry, not Jess, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, which I did see Hell or High Water. That's a movie. I mean, at the beginning I was like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good movie. This is a good start. As it keeps going, and as we get more into the characters, and more into their motivations, more into what they're about, I just got more and more caught up in it. And then by the end, I said that's one of the best movies of the year. And yeah, it is. Hell or High Water is one. If you haven't seen it, I would, as soon as it's out on VOD or on DVD for rental or even hell buying it, I would buy it. It's probably the best work that Chris Pine's ever done. Best work that I've seen Ben Foster do. Jeff Bridges, yeah, he's, I didn't really love him in True Grit, but I don't think he's outstanding in this. I think he's good. I think his character's got enough of a narrative there that that could be enough for Oscar voters to give him it would be his 7th nomination if he got in, and his first supporting nomination in a long time. And most of them, his nominations have been lead, but yeah, I think early buzz on him. If it stays, he could get nominated for it, and I think it's a fantastic film, one of the best of the year definitely. And by the end, I definitely saw why he would get in, but. Early on, he's kind of just, playing Jeff Bridges early on, but he gets more into it as the film goes on. Some alternates are Michael Shannon for either Nocturnal Animals, which I've heard some buzz about, or Loving. He's in both films. Hugh Grant for Florence Foster Jenkins. I haven't seen the film, so I don't know, but I've heard he's one of the best parts. Kyle Chandler for Manchester by the Sea, and Timothy Spall for Denial, which is out now. It's in limited release. It's getting a fair reception. I don't know if it's going to go all the way to get him nominated, but he looks like he's one of the best parts of the movie for sure. And then we have Best Supporting Actress, where I have Michelle Williams out front for Manchester by the Sea. I have Kristen Stewart getting in for Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, and Aja Naomi King for The Birth of a Nation I have in there. Alternates include Viola Davis for Fences, told you we'd get to it, Felicity Jones and Monster Calls, Octavia Spencer, Hidden Figures, and Greta Gerwig for 20th Century Women. Now, here's the thing. Viola Davis, evidently, Paramount and Denzel and whoever is in charge over there have not decided yet whether they're going to put Viola in supporting or if they're going to put her in lead. Here's the thing. I think if you put her in lead, there's still a chance she could win the whole thing. If the performance, is dramatic enough, if the time is right, if it's her year, she could win it. You put her in supporting, it's over. She wins. I think, I haven't seen that film. I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea, so I don't know. But I've heard Michelle Williams gets a really strong part in that. She looks like she's going to give a very, very nice performance. So yeah, I'm kind of biting on the, whatever the expression is, chomping at the bit to see that one. That's what I want to say. But yeah, and then yeah, Viola. I think if she's supporting, if she can beat Michelle dramatically and with the buzz and everything. She's already won it. Because, especially after The Help, which I thought she should have won for The Help. Nothing against Streep for the Iron Lady. I still haven't seen The Iron Lady. That's probably the only Meryl Streep nominated film that I haven't seen in the past couple of years. But that was a phenomenal performance. And it had the right narrative. She won the SAG. True, Meryl had won the Globe and had won... BAFTA and had won, a couple other things, but sure, I probably should have seen that coming. But anyways, I had Viola to win that year. But anyways, maybe to make up for The Help, because that was a phenomenal performance. It was overlooked. I thought this could make up for it if it's got the right moves, and I think just based off the trailer, it could go all the way for her, and for Denzel too, depending. Plus, I spoke about this last year, but the whole Oscars so white thing, we don't have to worry about it this year. Denzel is, I think he's almost guaranteed to get in already. Viola's almost guaranteed to get in either way for actress or actor, or actress or supporting actress. I mean, because hell, put her in best actress, she might win. but yeah, I think just her performance would be strong enough. Whichever category she winds up in, she has a great bet of winning at least this early out. You never know because somebody might come up at the last minute, but and we don't know the narrative of what everybody's race is going to be. But yeah, I think we don't have to worry about it. Plus Ruth Negga for Loving. Nate Parker, there's still a possibility he gets in for writing or for something else for Birth of a Nation. Moonlight looks like it features on an all African American or black skin cast, and it looks like that could be if Barry Jenkins could get in for Best Director, that would be huge, and I there's a possibility he could get in, and so I don't think we have to worry about it this year. Not to say that it's the only reason they're getting it in is because of last year. No. I think, or at least from what I'm seeing here early on, these films look like they're very deserving. Fences looks like it's very deserving of getting these spots. Moonlight looks like it's going to be very deserving to get these spots. It doesn't have anything to do with the race factor, I don't think. I think it's, like it has been in previous years. If they earned it, they get it. 12 Years a Slave did not win the Oscar because it was about race. It won maybe a few voters did. But, to be honest with you, it got in because it was a good enough film. If it was a trashy film that just happened to focus on it and people, didn't really like it, but they grudgingly voted for it, I think we would have seen that in the voting. I think American Hustle or Gravity or something else would have won that year. It would have been nominated. It probably wouldn't have gotten as many nominations, as key nominations, but it would have gotten in. And, enough of that. I think everybody gets the point, but yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to worry about it this year. I think everything's going to be right as rain. And again, it's like I said last year, it's not the fact that they're racists. It's the fact that we weren't getting enough content of, black-led or African-American-led casts. The same goes with other minorities like Latino and African or Asian American, Native American casts, where we didn't see enough of it. But this year, like I said last year, it was like 4 films. It was Beasts of No Nation. It was Concussion. It was Straight Outta Compton. And, what was the fourth one? I'm forgetting. Creed. Creed were the only ones where they had predominantly African-American leads or, predominantly African-American casts. And that was 4 films. Twice as many with white-led casts were nominated for Best Picture. And that's just that one category. Think about the other ones. But this year, just those 3 already, those are just those 3 for Best Picture. Plus, you look at all the stuff for Denzel and Nate Parker. Potentially, they could both get in for Best Actor. There's two of your 5 slots going to African Americans. Then Ruth Negga and Viola Davis, if they're both in lead, that's 2 more slots. Ali, Mr. Ali, I can't pronounce his first name. I have to hear it first, then I'll get it. From House of Cards, there's at least 1 there, and Aja Naomi King for and Naomi Harris, if they both got in for supporting actress, there's 2 more slots. So we could be looking at 5 or 6 slots for African Americans this year, maybe 7. Yeah, that's 7 if they all happen to get in there. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about it this year, and I'm sure they're all very deserving. It won't have anything to do with the Oscar so white thing last year. I think it will have to do with them being talented enough. The time is right. The campaign is there. If it prevails, I think we're in good shape with that. So we don't have to worry about that this year. And it won't be a pity thing. I don't think at all it's a pity thing. So yeah, I think that's enough to getting off the soapbox there. We'll let's call that good. Let's call that good. Yeah, it's just, this is just a quick October update. We don't have to go all in depth. I haven't seen, I don't think even an 8% of these movies, so I can't tell you personally how I felt about them yet. But as they come out, that will change. All right, so we'll see you guys next time.